So first of all, digital euro, aka the central bank surveillance token. Um, it's
That says it all.
it's the European Central Bank's central bank digital currency, aka CBDC, and it's nothing more than a programmable fiat, still subject to inflation, unlimited in supply, but now even with greater surveillance and control possibilities than traditional digital fiat. And CBDCs, they are like cashless money that the state can track, limit, or even freeze. Even a small amount of Bitcoin in a portfolio can be an asymmetric bet against fiat debasement, and especially hedge against CBDC overreach. So it can be a game changer for any business. And I would say that this is not definitely a financial advice, but some practical strategies for SMEs. I would say that start small, and the main thing is just to start, right, and allocate a small percentage of your cash reserves into Bitcoin.
Keep 'em cold till I'm old. I don't plan to blow my load. Wallet so blue, if you know, you know. It's better than bonds, better than gold. Finna reap up what I sow. Fiat money can't keep up, it gets sold. How many times you been told? DCA's the way to go. Higher highs, higher lows. Every year my network grows. Every day my network grows. Running relays, running nodes. Yeah. Dollar a day's a minimum. Stats, zap sats. Any fear I get, flipping them.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Ask a Bitcoiner 21 Questions. I'm your host, Saida Gomez. On today's full-length interview, where you, the viewer, can actually win 21,000 sats if you're the first to find the 12-word seed phrase hidden throughout, we're going to talk about the digital euro and what it means for you as an individual or a business. And here to join in on the discussion is someone who is very, very well placed because he is the relationship manager at Relai, a Swiss-based Bitcoin exchange that specializes in onboarding high net worth individuals and private businesses. Peter, aka Swiss Hodler, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me here, Saida.
It's my pleasure, really. And I think that, as I said in the intro, you're really nicely positioned to have this discussion because you have experience onboarding people in Switzerland and throughout Europe to Bitcoin. But before we get to that, because it's going to be really juicy, can you give us just a background intro on what your experience is like and how you got into Bitcoin in the first place?
All right. So I came to Bitcoin after many twists and turns. I first ignoring Bitcoin for many years, and I heard about it around 2011 for the first time, I think. But as I was in IT back then, so it was the right place to hear about these things. But I only started getting into it around 2016, and pretty much made all the possible mistakes you can do with Bitcoin until I realized that the current financial system is built on endless money printing, debt, and control. And also the COVID scam obviously was a big eye opener for me too, as it was for many of us in Bitcoin. And the whole simplicity of Bitcoin was in the end, that was really drawing me. Once I really understood it, of course, I did a lot of shitcoinery also back then. Like 21 million hard cap, proof of work, consensus mechanism, and freedom from central banks, that you really own your coins. You can really, that's the only asset you can actually take with you when you die. So that's the amazing thing about Bitcoin also. So once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is a cliche, but it's true. And for me, Bitcoin is not just an investment. It's the foundation for freedom. Fuck you, money, as we know it. So. Yeah.
Fuck you money.
Yeah.
It's because so when I was preparing the intro, I was hesitant in adding the fact that you've been banned from LinkedIn, and I think it's kind of funny, and I don't know. I think that we should speak on that just a little bit because here we are in a setting where you deal with obviously companies and high net worth individuals, yet you're still very casual and cool and you can say fuck you money. And that doesn't seem to affect the relationships that you build with them. Can you just touch briefly upon the Bitcoin ethos and why that's something that we or many people do or the way we behave?
So the thing is, I have the coolest job because I talk to Bitcoiners all day long. And, the people who have discovered Bitcoin, they tick differently. And I have a long TradFi background as well. So I can tell that also the culture of Relai is very unconventional. So, if you look at our marketing, for example, there's a lot of shit posting around Bitcoin, and people that come to us are actually pretty cool. So we work with. I work with the clients that I work with. So I would say large majority are extremely, in a way, laid back. So this kind of Bitcoin ethos is already deeply rooted in them, which is extremely nice. I really like talking to Bitcoiners all day long and helping businesses and individuals to onboard to Bitcoin.
Hi, everyone. It's Saida, host of Ask a Bitcoiner 21 Questions. To my listeners based in Canada and the US, if you're looking for a seamless way to stack sats, i.e., save money in Bitcoin, check out the Bitcoin Well. And you're probably thinking, Sai, you moved to Switzerland a long time ago. How do you know the service is good? Well, I asked my father, the man who famously told me there's nothing wrong with being frugal, to test out their service, and everything checks out. He visited one of the ATMs in Scarborough. It was very intuitive, very easy to use, and the fees were not too high. So if my dad says it's okay, it's okay. Remember to use referral code AAB21Q when you stack sats with the Bitcoin Well. And please, 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 let me know how your experience is. Give me all of the details. And if you'd ever like to be on Ask a Bitcoiner 21 Questions to talk about your experience with Bitcoin Well or just your experience with Bitcoin in general, I would be more than happy to host you. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm still very reluctant to swear. Well, one, because, I've got a daughter and I don't want her to have bad habits. She's still only 5. And two, I still self-censor when I speak sort of publicly as opposed to in my private life. So it's good to hear that so I can just, relax a bit more. But so the digital euro for people who I was at a party on Saturday and there were still a lot of people out there who are absolutely clueless about crypto, who can create a coin, what Bitcoin is, the digital euro. Can you give us an overview of the current landscape?
In regards to digital euro.
Yeah, and how it compares to crypto and how it compares to Bitcoin.
Okay. So first of all, digital euro, aka the central bank surveillance token. It's it's the European Central Bank's central bank digital currency, aka CBDC, and it's nothing more than a programmable fiat, still subject to inflation, unlimited in supply, but now even with greater surveillance and control possibilities than traditional digital fiat. And CBDCs, they are like cashless money that the state can track limit or even freeze. And the rumors that the ECB is planning to build their shitcoin on shitcoin, which is currently the rumors are Ethereum or Solana. I think they're just hilarious. And how do the digital euro separate or differentiate from these shitcoins is that it's launched by a central bank. And the shitcoins, like Ethereum, for example, they're also centralized, like a central bank, but there's no government behind it or any, let's say, public sector player. But it's a management team, it's a marketing team, foundation, whatever there is behind. So that's the crypto world, and of course, Bitcoin being totally decentralized, doesn't have any central body behind it, other than the core developers, of course. But
Are we going to talk about?
I guess not. I don't want to touch that subject at all. But yeah, basically that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Yeah.
In a nutshell. Okay, so for audience members, there was a little chuckle and pause because if you are on, I guess, primarily X right now, and you go because you're interested in Bitcoin, you may see that there is a slight conflict between, I guess, two implementations of the Bitcoin software. One is called Bitcoin Core, which has, brought us to where we are today. It's been around forever, and relatively newer compared to Core implementation called Bitcoin Knots. And so there's a lot of back and forth going on. There's a lot of shit posting going on. There's a lot of, I guess, intelligent debate as well. But if you are new to Bitcoin and you go on X and you see this, don't be alarmed. Don't get scared. That's normal.
Yep.
So actually, you know what? I'm going to use that as a segue into talking about businesses and high net worth individuals. So do they actually pay attention to what goes on under the hood, or are they really looking for, the store of value or medium of exchange aspect of Bitcoin?
I would say that especially the German clients who have discovered Bitcoin have understood also the risks of the digital euro that is coming. So in Switzerland, the digital Swiss franc is not that big of a topic at the moment.
No.
But in the eurozone, especially because Germany is our biggest market also. So Germans really have understood the risks, and it's also of course the store of value, but also the fact that it's freedom money. So they want to make sure that they have the keys, and that's possible with us. So we don't store your coins or your fiat or anything. It's just we buy it for you and you store it yourself.
Yep, not your keys, not your coins. So for businesses right now, so you mentioned your German customers, that's a relatively big market for you. How do they see operations, or how do they see things changing with the digital euro, and how are they preparing for it?
I think businesses in general, the ones that buy Bitcoin on the balance sheet are obviously getting ready for that also. But a majority of businesses, they have no clue.
Wow.
Yeah.
No clue. That's but you know what? Maybe it's not such a bad thing, because I was reading a bit more about the digital euro, and from what I see already, okay, so firstly, instead of, having a small sort of implementation and testing it, it would seem that the ECB and European leaders actually want to craft out the framework or the regulations and then build a product, which is so not how things should be done. From my perspective, you usually test things and you tweak along the way as opposed to like defining it, up front and then rolling it out. And then the other thing that I was reading is that there are some European countries, I don't remember which ones, but each one is giving their own feedback about how it should be. And so there's not even consensus amongst the European leaders. So maybe for businesses, it's not so bad if they're not even aware that this is in the works, because it may not work out. It may not happen.
I think it's going to fail big time.
Yeah.
Because you see, I mean, the first they wanted to develop their own blockchain around it, right?
Private, yeah.
Yeah, private blockchain. But of course, there is no such thing as capable government IT. So, you know, that's why this whole Ethereum Solana discussion. But I'm really looking forward to see the whole project fail big time. Can't wait.
So will you post on the ECB's X account? I looked at that as well a bit earlier today, and it's so funny because every time they talk about the digital euro or Bitcoin, they get ratioed. And there's one post, hold on, let me see if I can find it, because the community notes are just hilarious. It is, hold on, which one is it? Yeah, it's this one. So her name is Isabel Schnabel. One user, Turtle, said, do you think the Bitcoinist, I guess he's German, do you think Bitcoin is better than the Euro CBDC? If not, why? And she replied, or she quote tweeted, saying the digital euro is public money issued directly by the European Central Bank. Bitcoin is different. It is a speculative asset that does not fulfill the characteristics of money. Community notes, the best part. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. The digital euro or CBDC will not fulfill the three main characteristics of money because of its proposed limits, which is 3,000. It will not function as a proper store of value. And then they have a link to the St. Louis Fed education to talk about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I think Europeans are awakening slowly but steadily. Yeah.
So, do you notice that, there are some parts of Europe that are more awake than others?
I mean, hard to say if that's the truth, but I would say Switzerland is one of those countries where you have decentralization by nature. It's part of the culture, so that might be one of the regions where the people just don't buy everything as such, what the mainstream media is telling you. And also because of the direct democracy, the Swiss people also are typically quite well informed. And instead of just trusting the government, and if you think of the whole democracy in Europe outside Switzerland, in my opinion, it's not democracy at all, because you vote for a puppet every 4 years to sit at the parliament and press a button for you, and actually that puppet is being told top down which button to press. So it's nothing to do with democracy, actually. So Switzerland, in my opinion, is the only democracy in whole Europe.
Yeah, there's the votation. How do you say votation in German?
Abstimmung, the voting, right?
Yeah, Abstimmung. Abstimmung.
Abstimmung, yeah. Voting.
Abstimmung.
Yeah. Abstimmung.
Abstimmung.
Yes.
Okay. There's the Abstimmung coming up for the EID. I don't know if you've looked at
sure.
that one yet. And I really hope the Swiss people stick to the no that, that we said, what was it, a few years ago, I think?
Yeah. That's my wish too.
Yeah. So you are a dual Swiss and Finnish citizen. How are things in Finland? Are people very much aware of Bitcoin? Is it something they speak about? Do they talk about the digital euro?
Finns are, after Japan, number 2 in the whole world in trusting the government. So that tells everything already. They don't. I mean, there are Bitcoiners in Finland too. I was just in the BTC Health, the first large-scale Nordic Bitcoin conference in Helsinki in August. There are quite an active Bitcoin community in Helsinki and in Finland in general, but the large majority is totally unaware. Maybe they have heard about Bitcoin, but they definitely don't know what it is. So I would say it's compared to Switzerland, even, because in Switzerland the financial literature is on a totally different level than in Finland. In Finland, they just trust the government and switch off the lights.
And switch off the lights. So
Yeah.
when did you arrive in Switzerland, and how is it that you are not like the average Finnish person who blindly trusts the government?
I guess I've been long enough in Switzerland.
It does it
I
to you,
came
right?
17 years ago to Switzerland, and I was actually one day before the Genesis block of Bitcoin. So it was the 2nd of January 2009 when I entered Switzerland for the first time. And now I'm working in Bitcoin in Switzerland. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty
Yeah.
cool. And your family, your parents, cousins, siblings, I don't know if you have any siblings, do they think you've gone like crazy, or are they like, do they understand?
A large part of the family has been orange pilled
Oh,
by me,
nice.
and the ones that haven't been orange pilled, I just don't talk to them anymore. Not just kidding.
I believed you too, with the straight finish, no expression.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the family. I have been preaching about it quite some time already. And many of them have understood that there is no second best to Bitcoin.
That's great. So, I guess this is pretty, like, I guess, straightforward, cut and dry in terms of an interview on the digital euro. Conclusion: it's not good. Don't touch it. It probably won't work. And Peter will be happy when it doesn't work, for sure. Do CFOs like reach out to you or anything to talk about it, or is just straight Bitcoin onboarding?
The thing is, because at the Relay business, we work with SMEs mostly, and
Okay.
so basically owner run businesses, and so necessarily there is not even a contact to a CFO. It's usually the CEO and the founder who is a
Yeah.
Bitcoiner, and maybe there are a few ultimate beneficial owners, UBOs, who are all into Bitcoin, or the founder has orange pilled, or one of these 2 or 3 persons. So depends. I mean, there are some CFOs as well, and also I've had cases where the founder of the company is a Bitcoiner and has outsourced the onboarding to CFO, and CFO didn't have any clue about Bitcoin, and those are really really nice onboardings, because you can educate the CFO, and once they understand, the Bitcoin, the whole scarcity of Bitcoin, neutrality, the decentralization, and there's no CEO, no rug pulls, no insider control.
Yeah.
So that is something and it's really rewarding actually, and helping them to go through the whole process from, ordering a hardware wallet, for example, and how to store the seed phrase securely and all the whole 9 yards. And that's what we do also. We really hold hands when needed. But for the CFOs who have understood the value of Bitcoin and as a store of value for a business on a balance sheet, for them it's clear already, right? So, but there are cases that you really have a chance to educate people, and it's like I said, it's no second best. It's a lot of fun.
There is no second best.
Yeah.
And do you have, especially when you onboard new people, are there times when they'll call you because they see like a price drop and they're like, what, what's happening? Like, walk me, help me, or are they usually like once they're onboarded, they get how things go and, they're pretty much hands off?
Of course, there are discussions about, like, let's say, price movements, and they ask for predictions. But of course, we are not allowed to give any predictions officially. So and when there's a drop, because when we onboard the business, it's pretty much self-service after that. I mean, if there will be, like, let's say, a technical issue that they need help with, in those cases we might jump in and when they ask for help. But in general, not really, like when they are buying the dip, they are doing it in a self-sufficient way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So before we close out, can you give any sort of tips or words of wisdom to businesses that may be considering Bitcoin, but they just need that extra little push or something to finally get it?
Yeah, I mean, how, first of all, Bitcoin can help these SMEs. It obviously can protect savings, shielding the Bitcoin the cash reserves from inflation, and also, of course, the borderless payments. I mean, if there's a counterparty that accepts Bitcoin, also it's Bitcoin is open 24/7. And also, of course, Bitcoin, it attracts talent and customers because it kind of resonates with younger and forward-thinking, innovation-loving demographics. And of course, it's future-proofing the treasury as well. So even a small amount of Bitcoin in a portfolio can be an asymmetric bet against fiat debasement, and especially hedge against CBDC overreach. So it can be a game changer for any business. And I would say that this is not definitely a financial advice, but some practical strategies for SMEs. I would say that start small, and the main thing is just to start, right, and allocate a small percentage of your cash reserves into Bitcoin. You don't have to go full on until you understand Bitcoin. I mean, I understand Bitcoin. I'm a full on maxi, so I think I understand at least. And
Yeah.
also,
You're still humble.
yeah. And what is also quite important is what you can do. You can create a savings plan, so you can dollar cost average into Bitcoin, and it's important that you do through a regulated service provider such as Relai. And yeah, it's basically, if you are a Bitcoiner and you have a stake in a business, in an SME, just educate your internal stakeholders. I'm sure you're doing already, orange pilling them, and yeah, step by step.
Step by step. Awesome. So Peter, aka Swiss Hodler, where can people find you and where can people find Relay?
People can find me on X. Handle is Swiss Hodler. Also Noster, the same story, and SwissHodler.com is my website, and also the Relai app, Relai.app is the Relay's website. That's where you can find it. Of course, on X, Relai is very active there as well.
Awesome. A man, a few, but very on point words. Thank you for being on Ask a Bitcoiner 21 Questions and doing this full interview with me.
Thanks. It's been my pleasure to be here with you.
Keys. Yeah. Malak Quakes. Malak who? Yeah. Takes a Bitcoin off exchanges under self-custody. She runs her own node, providing liquidity. Yeah, she got her own keys. She got her own keys. She got her own keys. Yeah, she got her own keys. 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 Yeah, she got her own keys.